Is California burning down? And if so, why is it burning down? This is the As the World Burns podcast. My name is Minty Burns, and I'm going to get into the potential downfall of California. I actually came across a video on YouTube the other day of a podcast discussing why California is burning down to the ground. And I thought it was super interesting because from my personal experiences, I love California. It's an amazing place. It's one of the most beautiful places. It's got the coolest stores, so much happening event-wise, networking-wise, parties, mansion parties, good weed, legal weed. It's pretty much got everything you would ever want in a place. And in the 90s, it was definitely the greatest place on earth, to quote Mike Tyson. However, after 2020 and the pandemic, shit in California has gotten a lot worse. You know, the homeless population is sadly increasing. The streets are just filthy. There's crackheads approaching you at every single 7-Eleven stop. The traffic is out of hand. And it's super expensive. Inflation is going nuts. And it just doesn't feel like the same place as it used to be. So let's watch this podcast and see what they have to say as to why California is burning down to the ground right now. And everybody seems to be moving away from California and Los Angeles. It's actually the number one place in the United States that people are moving away from and going to places like Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, and whatnot. So let's see what these guys have to say about it.
I wonder what the things are that sort of separate California from other states or even other places in the world. Because if you look at academia around the entire world, or you look at in the entertainment industry, or you look at mainstream media, it always has a liberal bias. These are things that are based in big cities, whether it's LA, New York, London, Paris, Berlin, all of these places, big cities in general, no matter where you go in the world, they tend to lean more liberal than more rural areas and smaller towns and cities. That's just kind of a global phenomenon. I'm sure somebody has explored why that is. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering what it is uniquely about California, given it wasn't always that way. I just wonder what it is that changed over the course of those few decades that it has switched so reliably to the point where people who are trying to run as Republicans essentially feel like they don't really stand a chance, and people just dogmatically vote in one way and don't even want to give the other side a chance.
Yeah, I think another factor in California is the demographics have changed pretty dramatically. At one time, I think when I was a kid, 80% of the state was white. The rest of it was so-called people of color. Mm-hmm. Now, roughly 45% of the state is Hispanic. Mm-hmm. About 40% is white. 9.5% or so Asian. Only about 6.5% is black. And so the racial demographics of California have changed dramatically, and people who are of color typically vote Democrat.
Why do you think that is?
They've been taught that race and racism remain major problems in America. They've been taught that social justice is more important than crime, than schools, than jobs, and they're buying into it.
What do you think is going on there?
That brings me to my point of that in California and in New York, post-pandemic, you can literally walk into a Target, take whatever you want, as long as it's under $900 of value, and walk out the store with absolutely no repercussions. Security ain't gonna do shit. You won't get arrested. So there's been endless of these raids and shit from people that are just stealing. One, probably because inflation is so high they can barely afford to live. And two, some people are just probably taking advantage of the system. So that's another strange thing that's been happening in Cali and New York in the past few years.
It seems like there's some type of cognitive dissonance that goes on in these major cities where simultaneously you'll have people complaining about taxes, complaining about crime, perhaps even being victims of it themselves, complaining about homelessness, drug abuse, rampant people just strewn around the streets, right. Complaining about, shoplifting and car break-ins, complaining about the schools and the lack of achievement, lack of reading standards, all of these things, yet they don't seem to draw a connection in their mind between their voting patterns
Right.
and the policies and the results on the ground. And this seems to have been going on for many, many years. And as someone who considers himself quite logical and rational,
Right.
I don't understand how that attitude can be so pervasive.
It's the $64,000 question, Zuby. And if I could answer that, you'd be talking to me from Sacramento in the governor's mansion. I think it's kind of like, again, indoctrination. I know I've used that word a lot, but I think black people in particular have been taught Republicans are bad, Republicans are racist, Republicans only care about the wealthy people. Democrats are the party of social justice, the party that wears the white hat when it comes to equity, and that's what I think they've been told. I think it's changing to some extent because Donald Trump got around 8% of the black vote in 2016.
I love the fact
he got 12% in 2020.
Yeah.
20% of black men voted for him. And now it looks like almost 40% of blacks are considering voting Republican in 2024. So I think it's finally changing. If you look at the quality of schools,
Yes.
85% of black eighth graders nationwide can neither read nor do math at grade level. 85%. These are 13-year-old black kids. And in places like Baltimore,
So far, I don't think they've made any great points as to why California's burning down. I could think of a lot more points than they've mentioned so far, but let's continue to watch a little bit and see if they say anything that is worthy of that statement.
there are 13 public high schools in Baltimore, all located in the inner city, where 0% of kids can do math at grade level.
Zero.
Chicago, there are 53 government schools. That's a term I prefer rather than public schools,
Sure.
government schools. 53 government schools in Chicago, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Yet the Democratic Party opposes school choice,
I'm gonna
where the money
fast forward
follows the
a
child
little
rather than
bit
the other way
because-
around. So
Fascistic, don't care about anyone but white people, party of big business, don't care about social justice. I mean, when you look at the actual numbers and policies, all of this is bunk to me, but the branding has been so strong, and the branding of the Democrats is, hey, if you're a woman, if you're a minority, if you're a young person, if you're LGBTQ, if you're any of these categories, we're the ones for you. We're the ones who care about you. We're the ones. It's this sort of emotive messaging, which, even though on an idea to idea perspective, a lot of these ideas and policies are lacking and the results are not good, but they make people feel good. They move people's hearts and emotions in a way where they go, oh, okay, that's the guy or gal I want to vote for. And simultaneously, yeah, they brand the Republicans or the conservatives as mean or uncaring or somehow hateful.
That's definitely true.
And I think it's garbage. But
Basically, the point he's trying to make is that California is going way too liberal. They've always been liberal, but now it's just out of control. There needs to be a balance. That's what I think, at least.
that really seems to be what's at play. Like it's kind of a branding problem. I think that the Republican conservative side needs to get better at the branding part. And I know people don't like to think that way because they just want to win on ideas and they want to win on policies. But I just think that there's a branding problem. And there's something, I don't know exactly what it is that needs to be changed in the messaging, but something
Rebrand
needs to be changed
California.
there
Let's
because
go.
But keep in mind,
those
the
narratives shouldn't stand.
messengers are
Right
left
now,
wing.
it ain't looking too good.
I gave a lot of interviews when I was running for governor, and I said many of the same you're saying right now.
Yeah.
And I pick up the newspaper, and it's a completely different human being they were talking to. I'll give you an example.
yeah.
There was a poll I saw not long ago. 61% of Democrats believe Republicans are racist / bigoted / sexist.
Wow.
Only 30% of Republicans feel this.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit more, see if they're saying anything else noteworthy, because I have a few more points to make myself.
George W. Bush to have them pardon Jack Johnson. He's now, of course, dead.
Yeah.
And W didn't do it. They approached Obama. Obama didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Trump did. Trump also pardoned a woman named Alice Johnson, who got a very long but nonviolent drug sentence for, I think it was almost 20 years. And he commuted her sentence. No one else had done that before. So you look at all the things that Donald Trump did that benefited black people. And if this dude is a racist, he needs to go back to racism school.
Yeah.
Yet when I tell people this, it doesn't seem to matter.
It's the feelings. It's the
I'll
emotive.
give you another example.
Do we need Donald Trump back to save California? Like, was California a lot better during his presidency? Let me think. I guess he was president before 2020, and that's when I was in California a lot, and it was way better back then. So I think he does have a point. Or maybe Donald Trump, maybe the entire America and the economy in general was just a lot better when Trump was in office.
I have a very good friend. His name is Will. That is his real name. And I've known him for over 40 years. I was very close with my late brother, Kirk. But when I got married years ago, I chose Will over my brother to be the best man at my wedding. That's how close we were. And Will has a son with special needs. His son is named Jesse. Jesse's middle name is my first name. My name is Lawrence with a U. His middle name is Lawrence with a U. That's how close we were.
Okay, and what?
He is convinced that Donald Trump mocked a disabled reporter.
Oh, gosh.
You know the story.
I know this one.
All right, they're not even talking about California burning down anymore, but I think it's a very good topic that I really wanted to touch on because I love California, and we need to save California. California cannot go out like this. People are just like mass evacuating the state, and it's getting a bad reputation. It's like people don't want to live there. People don't want to visit there. People can't afford to live there. People can't afford to visit there. And it's such a beautiful place with so many dope things, so many dope people to meet and connect with, so many creative minds. We can't let it burn down to the ground. Guys, please let me know in the comments, what do we need to do to save California right now? Seriously, because I want to go back. I might even want to live there. But I don't want to go back in this state. You know what I'm saying? In the state that it's in right now. Maybe Vegas is the move. You're close to Cali, but you're away from a lot of the bullshit. Maybe that's the move. You guys let me know what you think. Anybody that's currently living in California that's watching this video, please share your insight as to what it's like. How has it changed in the past 4 or 5 years post-pandemic? Are you thinking about moving out? Are you enjoying your time there right now? I want to know. People from California, people not from California, please share your opinion. But I think we need to save the state of California. So let me know what we need to do. This is the As the World Burns podcast. My name is Minty Burns. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and as always, what the fuck can we do to save California? The world is burning, but California is most definitely burning at a very rapid pace. So let me know what we can do. Share some ideas and thoughts in the comments. That's it for today. Hope you guys have a blessed week. I'm out of here. Much love. Peace.